What's up, everybody? I'm Lawrence, and today we're going to be talking about the coronavirus. Because I know just how important the time it is for you guys, I have actually decided to divide this video into three parts. The first part, we're going to be talking about the importance of COVID-19. The second part is going to be about the actual situation here in Italy, because I live in Verona. And in the third part, we're going to be talking about what I think you should do based on my own experience. So let's start by throwing in some numbers. By the time I'm making this video, the total number of cases in the world, it's over 260,000. More than 11,000 people died, and nearly 90,000 people have actually recovered. Unfortunately, people here in Italy die in hundreds, and statistics say that we may be 2 weeks away from the point of the curve. That being said, it means that we're going to be having people resulting positive and some of them even dying for up to a month or two before the situation comes back to normal. While normal it's a big word because, let's be honest, nothing is going to be normal after this situation, I want to address specifically to those of you who still think that this situation is not such a big deal, because I want you to understand the importance of these numbers and the importance of this virus. And for that, I'm going to be using an example where you're going to be needed a bit of imagination. We have heard people say that your body is like a machine. While that may be true, we're going to be thinking today that your body is a driver and the disease caused by a virus, it's a car in a video game. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, it's going to make sense once we get to the point. Now, presuming that most of you have already played at least one racing game in your lifetime, I want you to remember that type of race that has a rolling start. So you're being put into this already speeding car. The computer controls it for you until you can take in the controls. And then when you have everything under control, your job is to not crash the car. In real life, if you crash, you die. I say that most kind of diseases are a rolling start because you don't know you have it until a specific point. Okay, so let's get back to the game. How exactly do you control this car? Well, you may already know what to do from instinct or from experience. Or if you don't know what to do, you simply ask for help. Okay, so let's make some things clear. The instinct would be your immune system. Let's say a natural unconscious way of doing things. Whereas experience would be you playing a very similar game before that or learning it through a tutorial. Now, the tutorial is like a real life vaccine. Basically, to your body, it's shown a safe way of how it is like to deal with this virus. Exactly just like you would learn how to drive a car in a video game tutorial. Finally, asking for help would be represented by the medical system, where basically the driver gets to be assisted by the computer. So far so good, but what do you do when you have to deal with a new car in a new game that have nothing to do in common with anything that you have seen before? Let's say there is no tutorial, there is no experience applicable, there's nothing. And even when asking for help, you don't get a specific answer because so far there isn't any. Of course, some of you may ask, who launches a game that has no tutorial and no help center? Well, nature has its own way of playing games. We have to either stay away from these dangerous games or to find any way possible to win this game once we enter it. And moreover, establishing a set of rules and creating a tutorial valid and available for everybody, it's part of our duty. And everything would be indeed nice if all the situation would be nothing but a simulation in a video game. But the reality is that people are dying. Only today we have registered 627 deaths. And it is true that many people die yearly because of the common flu. But there we're talking about the unavoidable number. Whereas in the coronavirus case, as long as the medical system doesn't have a protocol to follow, that unavoidable number could be even higher, and this is what is making it so dangerous. So, should you be worried and protect yourself in this period? Well, definitely yes. Should you freak out? Definitely no. Should you ignore it and think that this is something not so serious? Hell no. Because this brings us to the second part, where I'm gonna walk you through what's happening here in Italy. I know it's gonna sound bad what I'm gonna say, but I wanna make sure that by saying this, I mean no depreciation to the Italian people or to the Italian medical system that ferociously tries to fight this situation. What I'm going to critique though is the public's opinion and their irresponsible actions. Now, I've heard many people say that this virus is not so dangerous actually, that it has a lot in common with the regular flu. Other people say that as long as you have a badass immunity system, you're just gonna be fine. But the most scary thing that I hear often being said is that we shouldn't be worried about anything because it mostly affects the elderly. Which, to be honest, I don't understand, since when the life of an older person started to be less important? When exactly it happened, this process of dehumanization? Weren't we the ones to claim that now society is better than ever? I mean, I hear people saying like, okay, the bad news is that a few hundred people died, but most of them were old and with ongoing diseases. And how exactly is that supposed to make me feel better? If you would be old enough and hear not one, but an entire public stating indirectly that your life is worthless, how would you feel? This kind of mentality is the real killer and not the virus. Italy is facing right now a real medical struggle and tragedy, and the elements that compose this situation are political ignorance, mediatic ignorance, and social ignorance. Mix these three elements and you're gonna see how a country dies from the inside out. Today I'm not gonna go into details because this video is gonna be too long. Probably I'm gonna make a few videos where I'm gonna explain everything a bit better, but here's the general idea. Starting with the political ignorance, I must say that the measurements taken by the government were a bit late, chaotic, inaccurate. They were reflecting the attitude of someone who thinks it's out of danger, and then when that person realizes what the real danger is, just freaks out. And that's because, for example, in the beginning they closed some schools, a few cities, they implemented the emergency state in a few regions, and they tried to move gradually as the situation got worse. The problem is that the situation got worse way faster than anybody could imagine or comprehend. They could have at least understand from China what's the exponential growth of the cases, but who are they to take a look at that? It took them nearly a month to take serious measurements, such as closing the whole country. And they should have been doing this a while ago, not closing the country, taking some serious measurements. Like, some traffic restrictions, closing the schools in the whole country, closing the public spaces and prohibiting public and private gatherings. At least it would have been something more than nothing, and we would have not been here in this situation where the whole country is closed and some of the other countries around us are actually laughing at Italy. Because you see, you expect from a government to at least learn from other countries on how to manage a situation like this. And of course, what the mass media did was nothing but to make the situation even worse. By simply implementing in the public's mind the idea that this is nothing serious, that this situation and this virus is nothing extraordinary. And moreover, we've seen doctors on the TV stating that this is nothing but a common flu. We've witnessed TV channels transforming this topic into a real show where people discussed for hours and hours this matter, but it seems like the real issues missed their attention. These two factors blended so well together that even now the majority of Italians doesn't really seem to comprehend the seriousness of the situation. The contrast that was created between the slightly serious measurements taken by the government and the nearly complete denial that we've seen in the mass media made people be both ignorant and lose their trust. That's how Italians lately assaulted shops and pharmacies. Because they were like, okay, we believe this is bullshit, but what if there's gonna be a quarantine and I'm gonna have to stay at home and I'm not gonna have anything to eat? They went and bought everything they saw, and after they buried themselves under tons of food, they miraculously turned back to the stage of, oh, I don't believe in this crap. It's a very fast and secure way to deliver and spread the virus. Because you see, the Italian medical system was put on its knees in a matter of weeks, to the extent where in Bergamo, a city near Milano, doctors are being forced to decide who's receiving treatment and who is left to die based on their conditions and age. And that's because people don't get simple facts. You may be a carrier of the coronavirus and you may not have yet symptoms or develop any, but you may simply pass it to someone who is much more vulnerable, and that person may even die. And this is why it's important to stay indoors, to help to contain this virus to a much more limited number. Now, the reason I did this video in English, it's because I wanted to convey my message to as many people as possible outside Italy. And because I want you and your country to do the right thing. Listen carefully to the instructions that are being given to you by the authorities. Respect your hygiene. Stay as much as possible indoors. If crowds are still not prohibited in your country, then avoid them at any cost. Don't go too close to strangers, and you're gonna be doing a much greater job than invading shops and creating mass panic. I personally started to prepare for this virus weeks before there was an emergency, and people were laughing at me and at my wife because they thought we were crazy and we were panicking, and they thought miraculously that we were the ones who were creating the panic here. And if everything I said until now doesn't convince you, then let's put it in this way. Our grandparents and our grandparents were being asked by the governments to leave their countries, to leave their homes, leave their wives and children at home, take a gun and go to war. And they did it. Now, what we are being asked nowadays is to just stay at home and do nothing, wait for this to pass. Is it that hard? I think no. You can be a hero by simply staying on the couch. What could be better than this? That's it for now. If you had the patience to follow me until here, then I take a bow. And the only thing that I'm asking right now is not a like or a subscription, but a share, because it really matters to me, and I hope that this video is gonna get viral. I hope this video is going to spread. I hope this video is going to reach as many people. Anyway, you got the idea. Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy, and stay home. Bye.